Why is this game called Monster Hunter? You're just some arsehole invading these creatures' territory and making armour and weapons out of their skin and bones. You're the monster as far as I'm concerned. Moral dilemma aside though, Monster Hunter World is well good, mate. I have put an unhealthy amount of time into it and it is bloody rare for a game to get its hooks into me that badly. On paper, it is simple enough. Go to where the monster is, twat it across the chops with a massive sword, chase it, twat it some more, then wear its skin for armour and use its children's bones for a new weapon. You know what, I am starting to understand the people who think video games train serial killers now. Despite its simple premise, Monster Hunter World is anything but. Personally, I think Monster Hunter could be called Boss Fights the Game, and I don't mean that as a put down. Each monster has their own personality and attack patterns that you have to learn in order to succeed. You can't just run in guns blazing and hope to win. The slower, more thoughtful pace to combat definitely gives the game its own feel and identity. The game has 14 weapon types, all of which act very differently from each other, from the slow lumbering greatsword to the much more agile dual blades. The game gives you the basic version of each one, so you have loads of time to find one that suits you. It can seem overwhelming at first, but there are some good tutorials on offer and information on monsters and weapons, so it is quite accessible if you give it the time to learn its intricacies. Fights with the game's bosses can last a long time, requiring you to first track it and then fight it, and the monster will retreat like a big puss and move to other parts of the map to feed, sleep and other things during the fight as well, making it genuinely feel like a hunt. At first it is quite surprising seeing them behave in these ways, but when you come back to fight them again for materials, you know its route and all of that jazz, so you can prepare for that and really ruin the poor bastard's day. There is a story present. It is basic, but it does the job, I suppose. You are colonising a new island, a big dragon is being a dick, and you have to sort it out. Fair enough. I like that your character appears in cutscenes with their currently equipped gear, and a lot of them even blend seamlessly into gameplay. Here's how most of the cutscenes go though. You get to a new area, your infuriatingly annoying partner goes on ahead, gets attacked by a monster, you save her useless arse, then do all the dangerous stuff, while she just stands at camp. It's a miracle she survived long enough to be considered an A-list hunter. It's a well-paced game. The difficulty ramps up quite nicely in the early game, then it jumps up quite significantly when you get to high rank, which is where the game sometimes gets quite high on the taking the piss meter. On some fights, if you make even the slightest mistake, the game will fuck you for it. Oh, what's that? One hit and 3/4 of your health is gone, and ooh, look at that, you're stunned too. Let's finish you off. This is with gear that was apparently resistant to its fire damage. I know people will say, just craft better gear, but you can't until you beat that twat of a monster. It doesn't help that sometimes the hitboxes are way off. So many times I've been behind a monster's arsehole, it's charged forward, and I've been hit despite it going in the opposite direction to me. And the camera gets caught in geometry as well as monster parts, no matter if you lock on or not. Going underneath a monster will make you think you have entered the Twilight Zone. But usually that frustration turned into dedication. I'd turn up for the rematch like Anakin, saying,
"My powers have doubled since the last time we met, Count."
Good. Twice the pride, double the fall.
And fuck it up, which gave me such a rush of satisfaction. Ah, have that, dickhead. Not so hard now I'm wearing your skin on my face, are ya? There is a system in place where if monsters encounter each other in the field, they will scrap, but it is usually bollocks. They will twat each other once and then go, wait, the player is over there, what are we doing this for? Let's charge the prick. I found playing multiplayer a bit of a clusterfuck. You see, there is a sort of friendly fire mechanic where you can knock down your fellow hunters if you hit them. Thankfully you take no damage. But when there is 4 of you all dogpiling on one monster and some twat is swinging a sword about the size of a lorry knocking everyone down before they can do a combo, it is pretty annoying. Some combos and attacks don't do the knockdown, but they are usually the harder ones to pull off, so please don't be that guy, especially if you use the switch axe. Don't spam circle unless you are completely clear of people. Also on the multiplayer is a bit of a mess side. Say you and your mate are on the same story quest and you want to co-op it. Well, first you both have to play the missions separately until you have seen all the cutscenes before the fight with the monster. Then you have to leave and join your friend, or they join you. Why? It works fine on every other quest type though. Just pick it and your mates can join straight in. It is an addictive gameplay loop. Learn monster, kill it or capture it, craft stuff from its materials, take on stronger monsters, repeat. It helps that there are a lot of quality of life improvements made over the previous entries too, like the wishlist system where you put a weapon you want to craft in it and the game will tell you when you collect materials you need for it and how many you have left to go. Auto crafting is handy too. If you pick up a herb for example and there is room in your inventory, you will craft a potion. More time doing the important stuff, less time faffing about in menus. Good. By the way, if you're one of these twats going, the game is so dumbed down, shut up. Just because the game isn't needlessly complex or time wasting anymore doesn't make it dumbed down, it makes it better. Nobody is missing the missions where you have to collect herbs and flowers like in the old games, are they, you tossers? It looks top notch with detailed environments and monsters as well as some very fluid animations bringing everything to life, though looking at creatures from a long distance has them running at a lower frame rate, which took me out the immersion a bit. So basically, besides a couple of quabbles, Monster Hunter World is a banger. It's good to see something so good come out swinging early in the year before everything else comes along and disappoints us.